As someone who's been on the outside looking in for like my whole life, not wondering how I can get in, but how I can get them to come out, I've noticed some romantic dissonances that I would like to speak about. One is this dogma of male exclusive pursuit, as in the male should be the one doing all the pursuing. Now, one of the problems I've observed is, and guys complain about this, that, oh, it's always the douchebag guys who get the girls. Well, I've attributed this to male exclusive pursuit because, you see, men who are sensitive and emotionally invested in their pursuits will get hurt by the lack of reciprocation, whereas a man who is not as emotionally invested will be unaffected by the lack of reciprocation, or more so unaffected by the lack of reciprocation, which basically filters out nice guys. That's not good. A lot of women, talk about, wanting nice guys. And it's like, but their choices of who they go out with often seems to contradict that. And I can't really think like every single one of these women is a hypocrite, So I feel like this, um, how this male exclusive pursuit dogma is actually filtered that, I believe, assuming that all women aren't hypocrites, which does make the most sense. And also, the problem with this is that, like, women have like an impulse to pursue, and of course that comes with fear, and sometimes when we have something inside us that is undesirable, denial comes in, and it's like we search for a reason not to feel this. And sometimes that reason is that dogma. Oh, well, he should be going for me, and if he's not going for me, he's not the one. But, like, for all they know, that could have been, like, the perfect relationship. But because it's more comfortable to not face your fear and be pursuative, you just replay that dogma in your head and nothing happens. And that's also bad in relationships, to habitually expect, the man to be the pursuative one, because that will, hurt your relationship with the guy who does actually care. So it's something you would want to be out of the habit with. Yeah, and another problem that is more spoken of comically than seriously is the quote unquote friend zone. Now, I don't think in all cases this is what I'm going to say it is, but I do think more often than people would come to the conclusion of, it's a substitute father zone. I mean, we live in a world where the divorce rates are getting worse, and a lot of people have like a psychological emptiness. There's something called a Madonna complex for men, where they'll look for a female romantic partner to almost substitute the mother role, but then often these men end up philandering, being promiscuous, sleeping with other women. Um, I've seen articles online accusing Elvis of having Madonna complex. I'm not sure how true it is. I'm not some Elvis expert, but just to like give you a story to imagine, you know, a case of this. But I believe it's almost like a female Madonna complex. This guy is being a white knight figure, you know, doing all these favors, which are really romantic gestures, but because they're not being sexually pursuative, there's not really any way for them to distinguish themselves from a substitute father. And that becomes problematic because they aren't their father, and nor do they want to be in that role. And I think these men would be more successful if that woman had already had a father who was very present in their lives. I do think that, would happen less often if marriage rates were more successful. But yeah, it's really going downhill and building up momentum, if you want to think of it that way. And yeah, I don't know. Help me stop it. Bye.